Okay, let's watch this one. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have been living under a rock or, touching grass like a normal human being, there was some controversy at the Olympics in women's boxing because one boxer beat another boxer really bad. Ah, yes, Tron, this is a segment. One boxer beat another boxer really bad. And because she looks masculine in some of her features, everyone started doing the weird transvestigation thing, which was insane. And we kind of went over it last stream where I showed how intellectually dishonest people on the right are about it. That's my topic tonight. Bro, I feel bad for the conservatives. I feel bad for the conservatives because there's no winning, because they freaked out about something that didn't have any factual basis for them to be freaking out about. They just saw a woman that looked kind of masculine and they started freaking out. And then within a couple of hours, not even a day, not a couple of days, but within hours, all of the information that you could possibly need about this topic came out. And then you saw some people try to backtrack, and then some people try to double down. Now let's get into the nitty gritty on the epistemic, underlying facts. The facts about what it means to be a woman, which is the most in-depth, nuanced conversation about gender I've ever seen a conservative give. Usually it is vagina equals woman and penis equals man, LOL. But now it's, well, if we look at the intersex, the DSD and the levels of hormones that go on inside of someone, I think that it's totally natural for people to assume, bro, now we're going to start talking about intersex people? Now you want to start using that? It's actually so unbelievably baffling to me. For all the debates, I showed the conversation, or I'm sorry, the exchange that I had with Andrew Wilson, or as some people used to know him, Big Papa Fascist, on Twitter. And he said the stupid shit, and then I called him on it. I was like, wait a second. Based on the information we have right now, the most that you could say was that this is a woman that has, some sort of intersex condition, which you said in the past to me, you would default to say that person is a woman because they're, they have a uterus and ovaries and produce ova, and, they produce the large gamete. So therefore you would default to calling them a woman. He's like, that's only one of the criteria. I was like, okay, so would that criteria work here? And after 3 or 4, he backed himself into a corner. After 3 or 4 messages, he backed himself into a corner where he said, yeah, she is a woman. I mean, no, she's not a woman. I never said that she was trans. And then you see all the screen caps from the guy showing that he was talking about this person being trans when they're not. I just can't stand it. Anyways, so that's the basic background of this topic, okay? I'm about to join the world championship of getting punched in the face. I sure do hope I only get punched in the face a normal amount, true.
You're Imani.
Also, I don't think, I don't want to shit on the other athlete either, because I can't remember seeing anything from her saying that this person was a man. I think she just said, I can't remember ever getting punched in the face that hard. And, to preserve my health, I forfeited because there was no way I could win. Did she say anything about this being a trans person? Also not confirmed to have DSD? Yeah. But I'm just saying, based off the information, the worst that he could accuse this person of being, and it's not something that is a bad thing to be, but at most you could say that this person has some sort of, intersex condition, but obviously, yeah.
The plot thickens on this fighter, Imman Khyff, who has fought at the Olympics. Imman Khyff, I think actually a fair bit of my segment on this fighter was censored from my show yesterday because of the big tech rules around discussing this. So I'll be very...
what big tech rules could keep you from talking about this? You guys talk about trans people in sports all the time. It's never ending. What about this situation is so different that would cause you to not be able to talk about it in a way that like you have been for the past, 5, 6, 7, 8 years?
Be careful in my language, but this is a very important story. Imman Khyff is a fighter who's fighting against women in women's boxing. And the way this has been portrayed in the press is that Imman Khyff is a man who identifies as a woman who's fighting these women. And that's what a lot of the discussion has surrounded. Now, there is some question, actually, as to whether Imman Khyff really is a man. There have been conflicting reports over Imman Khyff's chromosomes, over Imman Khyff's testosterone levels. Is Imman Khyff really a woman born with some sexual abnormalities, or a man born with some sexual abnormalities, or intersex, hermaphroditic, or what? And we don't really know. There's a lot of conflicting information. We do know that Imman Khyff was prohibited from fighting women according to one of the major boxing associations, but then the Olympics cleared Imman Khyff to fight this Italian, and then they get in the ring for 46 seconds, one punch, and the Italian girl says, "I'm out. This person's going to kill me." I've never been punched that hard in my life. And so that's why there's an uproar. So what I said yesterday on the show is very controversial. I said, look, the leftists are all claiming that it's perfectly fine for a man, in principle, to box a woman. The liberals, modern liberals, classical liberals, progressive liberals, libertarians, the liberal types are saying it is wrong for a man to box a woman. Only women should box women. I said, but there's actually a third perspective here, and that's the conservative perspective, and that's my perspective, which is that women shouldn't box.
I thought this was okay. Let's see if it's even interesting, like his perspective. Let's see if there's even anything to push back on.
It's wrong. I can't watch it. I think it's, and furthermore, I think it is wrong.
I can't watch any combat sport. I don't like watching people beat the shit out of each other. I don't like seeing that shit, okay? Personally, just like me, myself, I personally do not like seeing people, bloodied and, nose broken. Like, I saw one clip one time while I was at a bar. I say a clip, an instant replay of some guy kicking another guy. Like, they both kicked at each other at the same time, and one guy's shin just snapped and like went the opposite direction under the other guy's foot. And like, that was enough for me to say I never will watch a single MMA fight, literally ever. I will never do it. So I don't like to watch people get beat up either.
Wrong politically for society to establish and encourage and fund and promote spectacles in which women are getting their skulls cracked in. I think that's wrong. I think that's disordered and disturbing. And there were many.
Why would it not be the same for men to see like it? Okay.
Many people who came out and said, Michael, you're far too extreme. You're a far right authoritarian. Many people who would call themselves conservatives said that. I pointed out, I said, hold on, you you know what I'm actually so glad about? Number one, the TradCon stuff I think is going to start going away. I think it's going to start going away. And you know why it's going to start going away? Because people like Michael Knowles play into the memes, okay? They play into the memes that everyone keeps on saying, you guys are weird. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. And it seems to be like the most effective attack on conservatives. And I don't remember where I talked about this in a group chat or if it was in my Discord, but like the reason it seems to be working is because I think that conservatives just always felt like the normal ones. I learned razor leaf already? Bro, let's go. It's a berry. Cool. But yeah, I think that these guys, all the other conservatives are going to start looking at these attacks like, oh, you guys are weird. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. And then you see someone like Michael Knowles, like, there's one perspective that says men should be able to box against women, which I don't think
show me like one prominent person that's making that argument. Show me someone that's not like an 18-year-old, hyper progressive kid that just graduated high school on Twitter that's saying men and women, there shouldn't be any weight classes. There shouldn't be any like gender divide between sports or anything like that. Show me someone that says that, right? Like Ollie oxen free, put a 350-pound, heavyweight boxer in the ring with a lightweight, like 88-pound, nothing woman, like barely there woman. So that's one perspective, he says. And the second perspective is like, no, men and women shouldn't be boxing against each other. And that's the progressive line. But the conservative line, which he's saying is what all conservatives should be thinking, is women just shouldn't be allowed to box. I think that the rest of the conservatives, that have been like riding around on the Trump train for so long are going to start looking at these guys and like, man, maybe this shit is a little bit weird. Maybe this shit is a little bit weird. I don't want to be associated with that guy. No, I'm not with that guy. Men are dumb and have little brains, so there isn't as much damage when their skulls crack. True.
You want to conserve the great tradition of women's boxing. When do you think women's boxing began in the Olympics?
I don't know.
2012. Women were banned from boxing in the Olympics until a dozen years ago, okay? When do you think women's boxing became a thing worldwide? Outside of a handful of rare occasions that...
Man, I remember watching like action movies from the 80s and the 90s where like, or like cartoons where the girl would know how to box. Like nobody gets freaked out at seeing a woman who's able to do karate or boxing or some shit like that. Nobody gets freaked out by this. This is a new invention. Nobody freaks out about this. Who is Chun-Li from Street Fighter? People don't get freaked out at the sight of a woman fighting just because it's a woman fighting.
Were quickly snuffed out. Women's boxing only began to hit anything even resembling the mainstream at the turn of the second millennium.
Wasn't Tifa in Final Fantasy VII literally a boxer?
98 in the UK, 99, 2000. So hold on, you're telling me that my extreme far-right, authoritarian, fascist, conservative position is something that everyone agreed with 25 years ago? That everybody, regardless of your...
They didn't have the event in the Olympics. Doesn't mean that nobody thought that women should box like 12 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever the it was.
Your political views? You're telling me that look, I'm a conservative, but I strongly support women knocking their skulls in on TV. Your view, which is supposedly conservative today, that would have been a radically leftist view 25 years ago. Frankly, even a dozen years ago.
No, it's not.
So all of that as
like, I wonder, like, do these guys hear themselves and how stupid it sounds? Or were they genuinely, like, brought up in some sort of weird religious, commune out in the woods where the only things that they ever saw were, like, biblical texts and shit like that? Like, women join boxing gyms all the time so that they know how to defend themselves, like, if someone comes up to them on the street. You're also listening to King Idiot on the Daily Wire. This guy gets paid millions of dollars to do messaging for conservatives. All right, we can say it's King Idiot on the Daily Wire, but like, this is what conservative like media wants to push.
Context to say, what now?
Oh, read the comments. That's a great idea. I'm super curious. Paris Olympics have become a joke. France ain't living this one down. So why is men knocking each other's skull in perfectly all right? What is the rationale here? Muhammad Ali got seriously damaged from a fight. It's not a safe sport. Wait until Michael hears about women's MMA. As a former martial arts and boxing competitor, I find myself shocked to be agreeing. This is a woman. That's a woman in that picture. Women shouldn't be allowed to box? Then you shouldn't have done that. You should have just been, a defenseless, like, personality-less woman who just knows how to cook and what? Michael, why is the Pope not condemning the Olympics Games ceremony? Oh, man.
Imman Khyff, some are saying, is not really biologically a man, that actually there's some sexual ambiguity, is raising the prospect that this person might be intersex or might be a woman, and we just don't know. So what then? If this person is intersex, it's a rare but real medical condition.
I will say, though, this is a really interesting way to, like, drift around, right? You're not even just, like, avoiding. You're drifting. Tokyo drift style around the elephant in the room, which was,
someone with
everyone freaking out that this person was a woman. You realize that you can't defend that idea that she's trans because there's no evidence that she's trans. So you're instead like, how could I make this even more conservative? Because I don't want to, have a million fact checkers on me right after I, put out this video that I know would be immediately flagged for misinformation because she's not trans. How else could I do this? I know. I'm just going to say women shouldn't be boxing at all. And that way I can still be talking about this, get all the clicks and the views on the video while not actually, directly engaging with that discourse.
Someone with sexual abnormalities, should that person be allowed to fight? Or do we need yet another boxing league? We need the intersex boxing league. Do we just test testosterone and then we meld the women's and the men's boxing leagues, or what? Do you think, let's take it even further. Let's say this person is a woman biologically and is just like the strongest woman ever. Let's say that the claims made by the Imman Khyff supporters are true, and this person is biologically, at least plausibly, a woman, and she's just, for whatever reason, super strong. And that's why, after 46 seconds, this Italian lady had to jump out of the ring because she was about to have her skull cracked in. Do you support
don't know that?
You think that's good? Well, it's two women. They agreed to fight. So, let's go. Crack her skull and let's watch that woman bleed from the head. No, I don't. That's not my view, at least. I think it's still wrong. Not because a man or a woman is doing the punching, but because it is a woman who is being punched.
Okay, I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so boring. It's boring. It's boring commentary. There's nothing to learn from it. No, he's only anti-contact sports for women. You're in the Olympics. What do you expect? Yeah, I'm sorry, Tron. Sorry for a short segment, but it's so stupid. I legitimately can't watch it anymore. There's nothing that I can add to that. Watch Tim Pool. It's more fun. Link it. Or is it in content suggestions already? Okay, we'll do one more. Tron, just keep this as the same segment, I guess, because this is so dumb. Okay, let's make a prediction now, okay? Tim is not going to acknowledge that this person there's like legitimately no evidence that this person is trans. He's not going to acknowledge that. He's going to instead, roll roughshod over the idea. Oh, I can't get it twice. He's going to run roughshod over the idea that there is no evidence. He's going to ignore anything that could show that there is no evidence. Yeah, he's just going to pretend. Welcome to Pretend Land, everyone. That's my prediction.
We've made it. The Olympics will have a man box a woman. So I'd like to, how do I pull up the odds on this one? This is Reuters, boxing two boxers who failed gender tests at world championships cleared for games. Two boxers who were disqualified from last year's world championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics, the International Olympic Committee said on Monday.
Say it again.
Are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics for failing gender. Two boxers who were disqualified from last year's world championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris.
Now, my understanding, based off of the couple of articles that I've read on this, I'm pretty sure they didn't get tested for that specific. Like, I don't know if that test is done actually, like genetic testing. I think that what happened was there was a Russian boxing, not a Russian boxing league, but like something along those lines, or like it was held in Russia, or the Russians, or a Russian was in charge of it, and it was almost entirely funded by Gazprom, which is Russia's state oil company. And this sub body of the like Olympic, competition committee, or of the boxing committee, this subcommittee here in Russia got kicked out because they were constantly fixing boxing matches to make money. And the person that they wanted to go up, accidentally triggered the fight. The person that they wanted to go up and fight was going to go up against this lady. And so they said that she failed, like she had the testosterone levels of a man or something, and that she was lying about her gender or something. Is that correct? Actually, let's just, before we even start this battle, this is Reuters. Let's see if we can just find this article. Reuters boxing. 2 boxers who failed gender tests at World. Okay, so this is from before the controversy. This is the exact same article that he has. Here, I'll even make it bigger. Or does he have like an ad blocker? Why doesn't he have to deal with this shit? Okay, cool. Whatever. Last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete at the Paris Olympics. Algeria's Imman Khyff was disqualified hours before her gold medal bout at Women's World Championships in New Delhi last year after she failed to meet the International Boxing IBA. That's what I was referencing, the Russian thing. Umar Kremlev told Russian news agencies TASS that the boxers had XY chromosomes. The World Championships were organized by the IBA, which no longer holds a federation recognized by the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, I believe. The boxing competition at the Paris Olympics is being organized by the Paris Boxing Unit, an ad hoc unit established by the IOC's executive board. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations in accordance with Rules 1.4 and 3.1 of the Paris 2024 Boxing Unit, blah, blah, blah. Let me see here. Okay, so this is the first article that he reads, okay? I'm sure we'll get there, Gas. Like hormone levels, I'm sure that they do like make sure like hormone levels and stuff like that is to make sure people aren't juicing, right? If this person has such high testosterone levels, then it would make it look like they're juicing even though they're intersex. I'm sure that would have gotten flagged, but that's assuming that even happened.
Boxing 2 boxers who failed gender tests at World Championships cleared for games. 2 boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics, the International Olympic.
Wait, say it again, Tim.
Ability tests who were disqualified championships cleared for games. 2 boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris.
It wasn't even the IBA commission. It was its president who did it unilaterally after the Algerian defeated a Russian boxer. Interesting. All right, I'll hold on to that. Actually, we'll just read it now. Banned governing body that's fueling outcry on Olympic boxers has Russian ties and troubled history. 17 months ago in New Delhi, was disqualified from the championships 3 days after she won an early round bout with Azalea Ameneva, previously unbeaten Russian prospect. Disqualification meant Ameneva's official record was perfect again. The IBA said Khyff and fellow boxer Lin Yuting of Taiwan had failed to meet the required necessary eligibility criteria and were found to have competitive advantages over other female competitors. The governing body claimed the fighters had failed unspecified eligibility tests, the same test that ignited a massive controversy about gender regulations and perceptions in sports this week as Khyff and Lin compete at the Paris Olympics. The IBA's decision last year and its curious timing, particularly related to Emma loss to Khyff, would have raised warning signs around the sports world if more people cared about amateur boxing, or even knew more about the IBA under President Umar Kremlev of Russia. The entire boxing world has already learned to expect almost anything from the Russian-dominated governing body that was given the unprecedented punishment of being permanently banned from the Olympics last year. In fact, it hasn't run an Olympic boxing tournament since the Rio de Janeiro Games in 2016. The non-boxing world largely doesn't know, however, about the IBA's decades of troubled governance and long-standing accusations of a thorough lack of normal transparency in nearly every aspect of its dealings, particularly in recent years. Many people took the IBA's proclamations about Khyff and Lin at face value while dragging the eligibility dispute into wider clashes about gender identity. The IOC has decades of mostly bad history with the beleaguered governing body previously known for decades as AIB. Has source of the allegations. Let me see here. Had stuck with a previous incarnation of boxing's governing body through decades of judging scandals, bizarre leadership decisions, and innumerable financial misdeeds while it presided over Olympic boxing tournaments. Not until 2019, nearly 2 years after the organization elected a president with what U.S. officials called deep ties to Russian organized crime and heroin trafficking, did the IOC finally banish the perpetually troubled group. Let me see here. I just want to see. Kremlev introduced Russian state-controlled Gazprom as its biggest sponsor and moved much of the IBA's operations to Russia after he took it over in late 2020. He also fought off a challenge to his leadership 2 years ago by essentially scrapping an election in highly dubious fashion. Oh, man. I could already smell the Gazprom money. Well, yeah, I knew about that earlier, but I thought I said it, but none of this sat well with the IOC. I just want to see if they say anything about the actual tests. Kremlev has also made additional allegations about the gender of both fighters without providing proof, and people across the world have accepted his word. That's unbelievably frustrating to veteran boxing executives like Boris van der Vorst, the Dutch businessman leading world boxing. Van der Vorst ran for the presidency of the IBA only for his candidacy to be inexplicably declared invalid. People have misidentified Khyff and Lin as men or transgender. It's not very respectful for the boxers who are competing here to Chinese Taipei and Algeria to speak about them in these terms. That's what I'm trying to stress. Oh, okay. So they had also competed for years at IBA without problems, but when they beat a Russian prospect, now it's a problem. I wish they talked more about the tests specifically, but
Paris Olympics, the International Olympic Committee said on Monday, dude, I'm torn on this one because obviously you want to bet on the man to beat the man to beat the woman, but the issue is there's no real guarantee the man wins, and I'm tempted to bet on the woman, to be completely honest. I don't know how you pull this up. What's this guy's name? Algeria's Imman Khyff was disqualified hours before her gold medal bout at the Women's World Championships in New Delhi last year after she failed to meet the International Boxing Association's IBA eligibility criteria. Okay, look, this is a picture, right? Tokyo 2020 Olympic boxing, women's lightweight quarterfinal, Kokugikan Arena, how do you say that? Kokugikan Arena, Tokyo, Japan. This is who's fighting who? Imman Khyff of Algeria. So they've already fought in the Olympics. Apparently, did the guy win? I'm sorry.
See the guy? He's
That's
just
just a
assuming
guy.
that it's a guy.
Like, look, man, we can't play this game. Okay, there are going to be biological males who want to win the $30,000 prize, which I think the gold prize is $30,000, and the gold medal, which is worth like $1,000, and you could probably sell for a lot more. I don't care what country you're from. Some poor country is going to be like $30,000 is like 5 years of work for me. I'll call myself whatever you want. So apparently,
does this guy think that this is the only way that these people make money? Like they're talking about other events that they were in. They have records that that amount to more than one fight or like 3 fights to get to where they're at. Like they have a fight record. How are you going to sit here and say that these people are just doing this so that they can get a quick paycheck? These people have trained for years.
This isn't the first time. It looks like this male boxed this female 4 years ago. I guess 3 years ago because they postponed it. They say Taiwan's double world champion Lin Yuting also lost her bronze medal at the same competition after she failed to meet the criteria because they're males. At the time, the IBA president Umar Kremlev told Russian news agency TASS the boxers had XY chromosomes. The world championships were organized by the IBA, which is no longer a federation recognized by the IOC. Athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations. The PBU endeavored to restrict amendments to minimize the impact on athletes' preparation and guaranteeing consistency between Olympic Games. Khyff next faces Angela Carini in a welterweight bout on Thursday, while Yuting takes on either Marcelat Sakobi or Satori Turdabakova in the featherweight division Friday. Let's see. Can we bet on Olympic boxing? Olympic women's boxing betting. Who's going to have it? DraftKings? Point spreads. 2024 Olympic boxing odds. I don't like this. Give me the actual betting. Odds checker. Olympic. Here we go. Are you outside? I'm American. Uh-oh. Is it redirecting me? Let's see what we got here. We've got the odds checker, ladies and gentlemen. Women's betting odds. We're looking for Imman Khyff, who is biologically male, and the odds. I wonder if it'll actually come up. So this is odds checker, Olympics, women's betting odds. Let me see if I can do Imman. There we go.
Okay, these are the tests that they refused to release. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's a little long. Wait, is there just like a video on it?
Please be safe and stay off the roads.
No, I don't care. International Boxing Association raised new questions while struggling to answer others Monday. Abruptly suspended, blah, blah, blah. The IBA still refused to disclose nearly all details about the tests and their results or methodologies, leading to the disqualifications of Khyff of Algeria and Lin of Taiwan. Those decisions catalyzed a major uproar in Paris around the two boxers who have clinched Olympic medals, despite facing rampant misconceptions about their gender amid a wider divide over gender regulations and identity in sports. Chris Roberts, the IBA Secretary General and CEO, claimed that the Olympic committees of Algeria and Taiwan wrote letters to the IBA asking them not to disclose information about the boxers at the news conference in Paris. What information it did reveal about the test was mostly not flattering to the governing body, which received an unprecedented banishment from the Olympics last year, following decades of troubled governance and longstanding accusations of a thorough lack of normal transparency. A Greek obstetrician named Ioannis Ioannis. That is not what I would have guessed. Ioannis Philippatos said the IBA did blood tests on only 4 of the hundreds of fighters at the 2022 World Championships. The IBA said it tested Khyff and Lin in response to complaints from other teams, apparently acknowledging an uneven standard of profiling that is considered widely unacceptable in sports. IBA President Umar Kremlev, an acquaintance of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who spoke on a patchy Zoom from Russia, then said through a translator that the test showed elevated levels of testosterone. That appears in direct contradiction with an IBA statement from July 31st when it said Khyff and Lin did not undergo a testosterone examination but were subject to separate and recognized tests whereby the specifics remain confidential. Kremlev was unable or unwilling to discuss the science behind the IBA's tests in technical terms. Interesting. Okay. We'll keep reading, and if he says something else crazy, we'll see if it says something.
Minus 125. Well, that makes sense. Imman Khyff is the favorite, but really, they're only giving minus 125 odds? That's fascinating. I guess the question is, who is Imman Khyff up against? So let's see if I can do this. We want to look up women's boxing schedule and women's Olympic boxing schedule. How do we pull that? Olympic boxing. I got it right here. Preliminary, 27th of July. Who do we got? I want to see who's fighting who. Let's pull this in, ladies and gentlemen. This one's going to be deeply informative for all of you. Let's see. All right, I don't know who any of those are. On the 30th of July, you've got, I don't see Imman. Boxing. Is this the right one? I don't even know if it's the right one, to be completely honest. Maybe I have to do a search for it. How do you search for it? Women's boxing semifinals? Oh, okay. I honestly don't know. I don't really follow this stuff, but minus 125, you'd think they'd give way,
do we have to watch the part about the...
way less. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Here's Lizard TikTok says, meet Imman Khyff, a boxer who was banned from the Women's World Boxing Championships in 2023 because he's a man. But I believe he competed in the 2020 Olympics. That's what the photo showed. However, Khyff is being allowed to compete in the Women's Olympic Boxing in Paris. Just another reason to boycott the Olympics. Here's an actual video of a boxing match between... Now people are confusing this. This is important. People think this video is Olympics. It's not. Teresa Smith posts, this was Imman Khyff fighting in Mexico in December 2022 against a Mexican woman. Yo, he clobbers her. And this woman gets beat up. I'm excited. I tweeted, I'm really excited to see this woman get punched in the face. It's boxing. That's what happens. It's not violent. I'm saying, like, I'm excited for the boxing match. And I was trying to be, excited. They're both going to be punching each other in the face with boxing gloves in a regulated ring. And I'm excited for it. I am. Fair Play Women says, on Thursday, a male boxer will fight a female boxer while the crowds cheer and TV audiences watch on. Sex testing confirms Khyff Imman has male XY chromosomes. So is this Thursday, August 1st? Do I have... This is it, right? Karini Angela, August 1st is the match. So quarterfinals. Oh, did they advance already? I don't know how to pull this up. How do you pull up the... I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong thing pulled up.
Skip.
Yeah. Oh, it's the 8th. Or is it Karini Angela? 54.
Why is he spending so much time looking at betting markets?
This one's really funny. Olympic announcer Bob Ballard fired over a joke about women taking too long to get ready. They're going to let a dude, a male, box a female. The odds favor the male. A veteran Eurosport announcer was fired for making a joke about women taking too long to get ready after the Australian Olympic swim team took the gold in Paris.
Wait, hold on. Is the entire betting markets thing to try and say... Hold on. Hold on. Is the entire thing that he's going off of here, the betting markets are in favor of Khyff, so therefore... Oh my God, you can't be serious. Women can't be good at something without being assumed to be a man, I guess. I can't, dude. I don't know what to even fucking say about that, dude. How are you basing your everything off of that and a bunch of things that are seemingly being proven to be just like stupid Russian propaganda? Sorry, I was saying that, like, I don't even know how to fix whatever's going on with the crashing. Like, this only started after I updated OBS. This only started after I updated OBS and started streaming to Twitch. So I don't know what to do about the crashing. I'll see if I can fix it by tomorrow. But yeah. Anyways, we'll keep going, I guess. Anyways, why do I keep doing that? Man, I don't know. Irritating. Let's keep going.
Maybe we need to bring, like, could you imagine watching like Barstool Sports and someone there saying this and someone like, that's outrageous, how dare you? Think they'd fire somebody over this? Man. Molly O'Callahan, Emma McCone, Meg Harris, blah, 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 who just beaten the U.S. and China for the team's 4th straight Olympic gold, were celebrating their victory by waving to the crowd, according to the outlet. During a segment of Eurosport's coverage last night, commentator Bob Ballard made an inappropriate comment, Eurosport said in a statement Sunday, adding the longtime BBC reporter and presenter would be barred from future broadcasts, the BBC reported. Who was the guy? There was like something happened where some dude was in an elevator and the women got in, and then he was like, which floor do you want? And they were like, floor 7. He's like, okay, 7. And he hits 5 and he goes, all right, and next floor, lingerie. And then they were like, oh, how dare you? And they got him fired. Here we go. They got him fired of this. 64-year-old commentator has since apologized. Oh, don't apologize. Come on. Here's my point. It was never my intention to upset or belittle anyone, and if I did, I apologize. I'm a massive advocate for women's sports, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. No, you're not. They fired a guy because he made a joke about women taking too long, but they're going to let a male box a female. I think they got two.
You still haven't been able to
two
show. You've literally... Here's the thing. He hasn't like gone through and like shown any of the evidence. He hasn't shown literally anything. And he keeps on saying the same thing. This was made well after everybody's already been going around showing all of the different Everyone's been going around showing all of the different evidence that goes against the idea that they're trans. So why hasn't he like even brought that up? He like just like pretends like there is no information that's come out that shows the opposite.
Boxing females. I do
Chill,
not
see?
believe that
You're
they
gonna get
actually
me in
care about
trouble.
any of this stuff. And I'm done pretending otherwise. Are we really going to live in this world where this is the standard? How dare you make a joke? Can I make a joke about the male boxing the female? Because you seem to support that. You know, guys, always beating women. What are you going to do with that joke? Right? Are you going to go, hey, you can't say that. Men don't beat women. Well, feminists would say otherwise. They say, well, actually, hey, you can't call him a man. Pick one. What are you mad about? That's why I tweeted I was excited to see this woman get punched in the face. Because, like, what if I'm being gender?
Wait.
Pick one. Well, that's a joke. Right? Because you seem to support that. This world where this is the standard. How dare you make a joke? Can I make a joke about the male boxing the female? Because you seem to support that. You know, guys, always beating women. What are you going to do with that joke? Right? Are you going to go, hey, you can't say that. Men don't beat women. Well, feminists would say otherwise. They say, well, actually, hey, you can't call him a man. Pick one. What are you mad about? That's why I tweeted I was excited to see this woman get punched in the face. Because, like, what if I'm being gender inclusive and calling the trans woman a woman? Here's what I really think. I think the Olympics is going to be rife with males saying they're female because they want 30 grand. I mean, come on, man. If you come from Algeria, if you come from North Korea, 30 grand. Now, if you come from North Korea, good luck. But you could be coming from a poor country, and you're going to be like, look, 30 grand's 30 grand. You can call me whatever you want. Like, let me ask you this question, my friends. If I walked up to you, and I bet we could do this video. This is a really good point. And I said, I will give you $30,000 in cash right now if you have everybody call you Susan. Who's going to say no to that? Because these people who are competing, they don't got to change their names. They can say, call me this for now or whatever. In the United States, the law is you don't need to legally change your name to require people to use a different name. Why?
Yeah. My legal name is different from the name that people call me. And the name that people call me in real life is different from the name that people call me on the internet. What is this? What is this argument? You don't need a legal change to have people call you a different name. Yeah, people called Donald Trump Don. People called Richard Nixon. Goonfolder said war. Sorry, I'm too enamored with the name to ban. I don't even know why I would ban. Just like the vibe, but Goonfolder is too good of a name. Does Tim know what a physical is?
Why would someone forego all that money? Sorry, that's reality. The left will say, no, that won't happen. Okay, dude, well, that's because you're just making blanket assumptions. But I think when it comes to the Olympics, they'll take the money.
JD Vance called it.
Alex Stein made the joke that he was going to
Hitler.
bet on the males to win. But the betting odds actually aren't that good anyway. It's like, it's not even a value bet. You bet $100, you win less money. Not interested. Anyway, I'll wrap that one up there. We got one more segment coming up for you guys at 6 p.m., so don't miss it. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. For everybody else watching.
God, he didn't say anything there, dude. He didn't present literally anything. He just said things and like didn't show anywhere where he even got it. Even nicknames vary for the same person depending on the context. Yeah. Like some bit, never mind. I can't say that. I can't say that. I got to be careful. I just got back onto Twitch. I got to be careful. Tim is going to be blown away at how doctors determine sex. I know. That whole segment was just to tell us you're a virgin without telling us. Well, that's the way things be right now. Unfortunately, that's the way it be. Okay. Sorry. I know that was a segment that got cut off in the middle. Really quick, if you're watching on YouTube, I see that there are 6 people watching on YouTube. Like the stream. I didn't put a new pinned comment, okay, because I was trying to get it back up for you guys. Like the stream. It helps me out immensely. Way more immensely than you could possibly imagine. Like the stream. The more people that like the stream in the first 15 minutes, the more people that will come through the stream. The more people that come through the stream, the more interaction you guys are going to have in chat. All right. It gets my channel out there. More people will see it in the feed. And if you guys are feeling generous right now, this is my only form of income. All right. I just moved across the entire United States. Well, I mean, I guess kind of right from the midline of the United States all the way to the East Coast, right on the coast. So if you guys want to help a brother out with some bills while I continue looking for a job,